folks, this is something that I've never shared with you guys, and let me know if that noise is super loud behind you, and I'll switch to a different heater. We're packing orders. I have 32 open orders, which is the most orders I've ever had open, which I'm embarrassed about. Normally I keep it around like a dozen or so, or I try to. Ryan, how's the noise in the background? Is that obnoxious or no? It's currently my only heat source, so I do have a Mr. Buddy actually. Buddy, all right. Bringing up a different heater. Even though last time I used this heater, it blew up in my face. We're gonna try it again anyway. What's happening, everybody? We are not live bait making, but live packing orders. I have 30 plus orders open right now. Just kind of nuts. And that thing just rips heat in here, but it like also rips through propane tanks like no tomorrow. I'll go through one in like less than a week. I'll probably order some stuff from you. Don't do just probably, just order some stuff. Right now we are in the process of cutting the tails for the glide tubes. This is the 3.5-inch one. And I have to cut that little sprue off. Oh, I love Mr. Buddy heaters. Thank you for ordering if you do order. Oh, I hate Mr. Buddy heaters sometimes. This is my newer one. I have one from like forever ago. The ice by the bridge was like 6 inches plus. Like it's plenty enough for ATVs and snowmobiles and stuff. That's south of the bridge, north of the bridge just froze yesterday/day before. So I wouldn't go over there, but glide tubes, never seen or used them before. Interested. Yeah, they are my design. There is some musky baits out there that are similar to it. There was a tube back in the day that was flat, and it actually had a backward faced lead jig that was also flat, and you used to be able to like skip it and glide it underneath the docks. and I didn't know about that until I started doing research about this. And how I got this idea was an airplane jig, which is really popular over in Maine. God, I hate this thing. I feel like there's just something wrong with this heater. You shouldn't. A lot of people use airplane. Yeah, I have one. I've only used it once. There's gotta be something wrong with this heater. I know this probably looks really weird coming. All right. F that thing. Sounds like we're just gonna do it without it for a little bit, and I'm gonna have my hoodie up. And then when I get really cold, I will. Yeah, I'm about to do that. I just want to get started. I'm so behind on orders. And it's precision. It's whistling. So I had an issue with this heater earlier this year. Like 2 weeks ago, I put a normal propane tank on it, and it like inflated and blew up in my face, which has never happened before. I knew it was kind of gonna happen, and I should have stepped out of the shack and did it outside of the shack, but I did it inside the shack anyways. It's one of my sight fishing videos where I almost lost a bunch of eyebrow hair. And I thought it was just a propane tank because I refill my own because I'm cheap. I got the pilot lit. We're going in the right direction, guys. We got 40 folks on. Tell me where you guys are from and if you've ever ordered from me before, or especially if you have an order open for me right now. Right now, I'm packing. I have a laptop over there that does all my label printing and stuff. Yeah, there's definitely something wrong with this Mr. Buddy heater. But anyways, this is what we're making. And it takes, let me see the person's name actually. This guy's name is Boham. Probably just Bo for short. But there we go, cut the tails. Awesome. I feel like there's a leak in this thing. What's up, Jed? Yo, down those Daring Sports. I am cutting glide tubes. Which I need a bigger arbor press for. And I'm going to throw this Mr. Buddy heater out the door in about 2 seconds. So frustrated with it. I have my old one that's actually in my ice fishing sled. Problem is, that ice fishing sled is strapped to the back of the truck. Strapped to the back of the truck. And then I have to take the cover off, and then I have to get it out. Take a propane tank off, and then bring it in here. Or I can just freeze to death in here. One or the other. Gotta get some before spring. Yeah, you should. 'Tis the season. I did and I would just cut my finger open. That's good. Did really well in the spring with these on Sebago. Nothing a little painter's tape can't fix. Right, these pieces of crap here. There's something whistling in here, and I don't know what it is. When's my next video coming out? I have a video coming out Sunday. It's another how-to video about how to catch Lakers when they don't want to chase, which is finding more and more these days. Well, actually, I find it quite often. I just don't really talk about it, but it's a question I get asked a lot. Says my Lakers don't chase like in your video, Josh. What do I do? So that video is coming out Sunday at 8. And then I have a Winnipesaukee jigging video coming out as well. That I haven't edited yet. And then I have another one coming out of Winnipesaukee and underwater camera footage from one of those Amazon companies that sell underwater cameras. I literally get emails from underwater cameras probably like once a week to review them. Because people like Clayton Chick and stuff are all sponsored by Aquaview, and I was for a little while there, but they only want the big guys now. Are you gonna fish Moosehead this winter? Maybe. I have a kind of an open invite from a guide that fishes up there, and I'm supposed to be guiding him. But he's in Florida right now chasing tarpon. So once he's back, he's going to give me the down low on Moosehead. I want to just go out there, and unfortunately, it's definitely going to be an overnight trip. I have a newborn at home. I have she's 2 months basically. Would you say LiveScope helps to identify fish that won't chase, but will bite a jig on bottom cut bait? Yeah, I would say 100%, because what it does, like on 2D, all you're seeing is a line go up, and unless you're really detailed and skilled at reading that line, you can't tell if a fish is turning around on 2D. On LiveScope, you can tell if they're turning around and whizzing around and like changing their mind. You can tell their whole body language on LiveScope. You can't really do that on 2D. At least I probably could going backwards, but not someone who's like new to 2D jigging. what I tell people about LiveScope is, hey, if you want to, I don't know if there's any places that rent LiveScope. If you were to rent LiveScope for just a week, let's say, you would learn so much about how fish behave and act. It'd be a little ridiculous. I mean, that's what I would do. Like, I would just go rent one somewhere if I had, like, I don't know. It's just crazy how much you can learn from it. And where fish are, because you see a lot of people online that are talking about fish locations and stuff, and then you learn from an actual biologist who tracks fish down, like muskie, all the time. You know, they're learning that muskie, about 50% of muskie are not on shore, they're offshore, being pelagic, chasing pelagic bait. Like, nobody knew that before LiveScope. They'd always just beat the bank. All right, there's one pack. And here's the next one. These are, how do you like the 100 Garmin ball? I do like it. I keep it with me at all times. I keep it right in my my camera box, because if I'm setting customers' lines, like clients' lines, for tip-ups or something like that, I don't want to drive my LiveScope over there, and I don't want to drop the depther down, so I just plug that in and I just drop it down. Can you please get pregnant on live? This is a different kind of channel. I don't know what's up with this freaking heater, but it probably just needs to be cleaned. If I was to guess. Judy Jingen, if they don't bite on the chase, then I get bored and leave. I don't know how else to catch them. Yeah, watch the video on Sunday, and you'll figure it out. Now they don't always bite on the other option that I'm teaching on Sunday, but I would say I went out a week and a half ago, and I knew the early morning bite was going to be great, and then it was going to start to suck barometric pressure-wise. So I went out, first couple fish chased, and as soon as I expected barometric was changing, they started to get really finicky and wouldn't chase anymore. And so I'm like, all right, let's do the video on how to get them to eat when they're not chasing. And that's exactly when I did the video, when they were being finicky, when the pressure changes, when that bite window kind of slows down. And I really don't know why that is. How's it going, Okeechobee, Florida? Small water charters. Ban Neptune. As long as they're... So, for people that don't know, like, I get, between personal messages and, like, Facebook messages, I get, I don't know, 20 messages a day or something like that. And comments between Instagram. Facebook's crazy right now. My Facebook's popping off. If you guys don't know, I have a Facebook business page. If you say something mean, I just delete the comment. Like, if I see it and I catch it, I'll just delete the comment. This channel is not like a prank channel. It's not like it's an educational vlog style channel. There's no reason for having junk on there. So, and I know a lot of kids watch my stuff to catch lake trout, so I just delete it. So if you want to be mean in the comments, you're gonna get canned. Yeah, it's under Bendit Fishing. I see what are you channeling me? Yeah, I see what he said. That's not terrible. Facebook's way worse. Can I see your snow dog? The answer is no, because it's actually in the back of my truck. So I actually keep the snow dog in my truck from basically January 1st until the end of the season, basically. Because that's all I use my truck for, really. I'm probably not going to be fishing for the next week and a half. I'm too busy doing some other stuff. So I might take it out of my truck just to save on some gas mileage. Thank you for following. I'm cutting the wing tubes. I was using a rattle trap 2 days ago, or yesterday, on Champlain, and I actually caught a lake trout dead sticking it, literally just below the hole. I looked over on sonar and he was on it and he hooked himself. So I use blade baits. I use rattle traps. I do like them on occasion. My biggest thing is you have now 6 hooks to deal with, and I'm a big proponent of catch and release, as you guys may know. So I try not to beat up the fish too much. Because lake trout are actually worth more to me alive than they are dead, since there is no commercial fishery for them. Except, I was just talking to a subscriber who is trying to, he's watching my channel, but they're paying $15 a head or something like that, or $5 a head in Yellowstone Lake, I think, to kill lake trout because they're invasive in there and they're eating the native cutthroat. So I'd be willing to go down there and kill a bunch of lake trout for a good cause. Cutthroat are absolutely beautiful. Inch and a half ice is inch and a half ice, man. Doesn't matter if you're over your head in water or you're shallower. So I'm gonna spin you guys around here. I got my computer station here. Got that, and it's got a pack of normal tubes as well, and then 4 jigs. So these are my normal tubes. They're actually 4 inches, but I sell them at $3.75 instead of changing the address, changing the website. They just run a little bit long. And then I spray all my stuff with a little bit of worm oil, and that keeps them lubricated and nice and shiny. And then 4 jig hooks. And these are the jigs. So the jig is, the baits are designed around the jig because the jig mold is usually a standard mold. So if you do order baits from me, try to order the complete package. If that makes any sense. And this order is going to Minnesota. I have a lot of orders that go to Minnesota. Minnesota and Utah is pretty high. What are we doing here, boys? We are packing Bendit fishing orders. This one's going to Boham. This is first first name, and I hate when it does this. It says review the address. Can use suggestion. And then we go down and we buy a label. It's very cold in my garage. I should have cranked the heat ahead of time. Used to be like that. What do you have? Versus the small jar. Do you have an ice fishing kit? Basically, the Winnie kit is an ice fishing kit. I just use it all year long because that's what our Lakers like around here. And I'll be packing those in. I'll be packing one of those in a minute, so you guys can see the raw product, if you want to call it that. Who's talking about Willoughby? I'd love to go and fish Willoughby. That's Rue Ryan. Just starting to head north. Beach recently this summer. Best course. First order got packed. Finally. I am sponsored by Circle Tackle. So I do like their stuff. I met him at a trade show. Actually, he found me and I met him at a trade show 2-3 years ago. And then I like his Laker rods and I'm using all of his stuff. The only thing I don't have. Yeah, all the ice fishing stuff is pretty much his. And I'm going to close out this item. Fulfill item. I'm going to look at my next order. Our salmon season opens up April 1st. I've actually caught quite a few salmon this year already. By accident, of course. So, chartreuse. There we go. PB Bourbon is 27 3/4. I think. Ryan was there with me when I caught it. Fortunately, it was not on camera. I was slept at a place all night, didn't catch a single freaking burbot. Wake up in the morning, turn my Aquaview on, had a line down all night. Wake up in the morning, drop the jig down, look at my phone for 2 seconds, and that giant picked it up. But that's almost a trophy for New Hampshire, just short. Yeah, 27 3/4, something like that. Not been 3 years due to. We got 20 slots, so we can taste pretty good. Nice. No salt, no salmon, just some weird mutant. Ha. Don't know what that means. Thoughts on Sebago? We'll be making a trip soon. If Sebago gets safe enough, I mean, you guys have seen me walk on some stupid thin ice just because. I was explaining this the other day on my Instagram because probably a month ago. I've jumped out of a plane before, with a parachute. When you do that, they have a spare parachute. And it's their job because it only takes one time for your parachute not to open. They're like, oh, I should bring a spare next time, right? So I am prepared always to go through the ice. Every time I step on the ice, there's a ability to do that. So I always wear a float suit. I always wear ice picks. Unless I'm with somebody, sometimes I won't wear my ice picks because I get lazy or can't find them for whatever reason. Most of the time, I am prepared to go through the ice. High pressure, low. So Ryan and I have been talking about this, and I have not put the perfect pattern together. But if you go to Bass Pro's website and you look up fishing barometer, there's a little barometer you can buy. Don't buy it. Just take a screenshot of it, and then go to barometer barometric or barometricpressureapp.com, and you can look at the barometric pressure in your area. And it really matters the most during ice fishing season. I don't know why. Probably because they're so lethargic and stuff during the ice fishing season. Like their metabolism, not lethargic, their metabolism slows down so much. They're not eating as much. That it's an issue. So I feel like I went the other day. Barometric pressure was diving straight down, not straight down, but like, 45 or so. What that little thing from Bass Pro says, that fishing barometer, says that it's going to be good for the first couple hours, and then it's going to suck after that. And sure enough, first few fish I caught first thing in the morning when it was lit daylight out, those fish ate and chased. The rest of the day, they would only eat it out of the mud, which is like a last resort kind of thing. Like they barely wanted to eat. I was basically had to force feed them the whole freaking morning, which was obviously irritating. 20%, give a man a fish and you'll fortune on gear. And yeah, well, I use mine more than twice a year. I actually fish less now than I used to. It's when, Josh, it's when. Hope he's making the 2 kits I just ordered. Yeah, if you just ordered them today, you're 30th in line or 29th in line, because I just packed an order. And I haven't packed any Winnie kits yet. These orders are a little bit older that I'm packing. I try to ship stuff out within a week, which is still difficult for me because I still have to go film videos. I still have to make baits, and I can't ship them out the same day I make them. They have to basically cure. Some people wait a week. Some people wait 24 hours. I try to wait at least 24 hours before I ship stuff out. Otherwise, it can get deformed in the package. And you'll get a swim bait that has a tail that's like crooked. A few spots in Sebago, the pets have been out. It's been very cold, huh? Sure, there are plenty of fish. The rigs you sell were great on Champlain too. Thank you. I was just on Champlain yesterday. Caught a bunch of fish. So probably from this summer and from last summer until now, a lot of times you see me fish. I'm filming multiple videos in a day because they're easier to film how-to videos. So I was up on Champlain. I filmed 2 videos, caught 16, 17 Lakers. I got up at 3:30 in the morning. 3-hour drive up there, exactly 3 hours. And then I fished from 7 in the morning until 3:30 in the afternoon, packed up for half an hour, and then got home by like 7:30. So when I hear from people like, "Oh yeah, it must be nice," like that's a long day, and I'm working the whole day. Like I'm on all day. I don't do anything on my phone. I'm just working the whole time, trying to catch fish, all that jazz. Yeah, Ryan's got a job now, so he's not in so many videos anymore. Before he was in school, so we would just kind of like plan trips to bring Ryan along so I could teach him how to fish, Does your website send you an email telling you make certain number of jigs? So my website tells me who ordered, when they ordered, how much they ordered, right? I don't track anything in inventory. So I am actually a process engineer. So all my stuff is set on like high-low minimums. for all my jigs, because I order my jigs from a guy named Ken. His business is Lead Free Bass Jigs out of Massachusetts. He makes a bunch of custom stuff just for me. So he makes stuff with like a heavier gauge hook than you would normally use for like a bass. So I have, you guys can see right here, like I have 25 in each bin, and when they get low, I just reorder from him. Yeah, I get an email and it goes ka-ching, and I give my wife and my son a high five every time I get an order. We're on Champlain, Southern Champlain. That's where I was fishing. Next, we're doing this 6-inch bad boys, which now that Canadian Customs is back open, actually Canadian Postal, not Canadian Customs is back open. I'm selling a bunch of these. And I'm waiting for Mac Mulligan to catch a 40-incher on one of these bad boys. He told me he's going to film it at one point. Why did the fish bust? Because I saw the lake's bottom. Ha ha ha. I do like dad jokes. Being a dad myself. Shelburne is frozen. Shelburne's probably frozen. I don't know. I know the place where we fish in the spring is open water because John checked yesterday. Mallets is definitely frozen. You're staying in Tamworth area, you never can a pond or lake that would be guaranteed some perch or trout. Struggling. If you're on Silver Lake and Conway area, I wouldn't. I mean, that's a lake trout lake, so struggle bus to begin with. Send me a DM on Instagram. I don't want to like. There's 42 people on right now. I don't want to blow up one of my spots entirely. But I got a pond that's should have way more ice than you probably want. Shelburne is frozen, Mallets. Yeah, I know Mallets Bay is frozen. I know Outer, I guess, is frozen as well. But I haven't confirmed that yet. Come on, man. I think I'm ordering the weekend. How long does it take to pack and ship? Well, I only have so much inventory in stock right now. If I run out tonight when I'm packing, it'll probably be 2-3 days before you get it. I'm gonna try to pack it. If you order it on a Monday, I try to ship it out by at least that next Monday. Every retrieve could be. Thanks. I'm in Wyoming, not blowing up your spot for me. What city am I in? Am I right outside of Manchester, New Hampshire? And this order is going to the great province of Ontario. I do not know how to pronounce that town. But you ordered a 2-pack of Chartreuse Glow, and I would turn the lights off and show you that they glow, but I would probably fall down trying to get back to the camera, so I'm not doing that. And the Chartreuse ones glow. If you guys get my stuff and the Chartreuse, like the tubes don't glow super bright, it's because I think the Chartreuse actually absorbs. Since Chartreuse is also UV reactive, Chartreuse actually intercepts some of that glow for whatever reason. It's kind of weird. Order number 2, going to Canada. Print packing slip. So Canadian Postal has been on strike for like over 2 months. They were on strike for over 2 months. I had orders that were like way behind, and I had other orders that were stuck basically in U.S. customs because they couldn't go anywhere. Flipping nightmare. $43 is not bad. You got Texas and stuff have freaking snow. Now I gotta cut it. You still loving the Summit Shuttle for live scope? Yeah, I like the Summit Shuttle. It's I have no complaints over it. I think it's the latest one on the market, which is nice. Yeah, so Summit Shuttle is nice. Put that down a little bit more. Summit Shuttle is nice. I still like it. If you want something a little more heavy duty, go with the Arc Lab one, obviously. Now I got to do 5 packs of these. So what happens is someone will buy my stuff. We'll catch a big freaking fish on it, and then they'll go buy a bunch more. Like they'll buy just like a small pack of it, and then they'll buy a bunch more, which is awesome. South Hero VT here on the Big Northerns. The main lake is deeper. Yeah, I haven't fished that. I have fished that area near Plattsburgh, but only in the fall, like the spawn season. But I gotta get up there. I'm gonna hopefully try some new spots there this spring and new spots there this summer. Since I have the luxury of going to Champlain, kind of whenever I want, I just go up there and I spend the day up there and film some how-to content because those lakers actually behave like they're supposed to. They act like, Northern Canada lakers were like, oh, I've never seen a jig before. Let me just smoke that. I'm going to do any hunting on the channel. The answer is probably next year. So this year I was going to introduce some grouse hunting. So I grouse hunt every once in a while. I've never actually shot one in New Hampshire. But that's my plan next year because the waiting for ice season is so long, especially like these last couple of years. So I might do some grouse stuff. My son liked it last year, so I might have him in the video. He pointed out maybe a blue jay and stuff, but I'm not going to do any deer hunting or anything like that on it. If I can get more people to watch my fall content, then I won't do any hunting stuff, if that makes any sense. Like I still had study orders, but my daughter was born in November. So I kind of took November and December off. Kind of. According to my wife, I didn't. You worked the whole time. Sticking to that story. 4-inch perch. I've got a lot of small. So Vermont is weird. So since Vermont has a commercial panfish market, like there are some lakes that have some severely stunted crappie and stuff like that because people get paid more for bigger fish. So people go and catch all the big ones and bring home. All right, call me tomorrow. I'm just making orders tomorrow, so making orders / packing orders. I talked to a couple old timers, probably 2 years ago. They were on the Connecticut River. And they're like, yeah, this place used to have some big freaking crappie in it. These guys were keeping crappie this big and putting them in the bucket. I'm like, well, you think that's why the crappie aren't big anymore? It's because you're keeping, like, I don't even know how you could fillet the thing. Yeah, I was just talking to a couple of people about Northern Champlain. Southern Champlain is 3 hours from me. I probably won't hit it again this year. I'm trying to make it through this ice fishing season unscathed, basically without breaking anything. My plan is to do the LCI this year. Awesome. I like the chartreuse too. And it's funny, I was actually telling Ryan that I don't use the chartreuse very often because every time I use it, I catch salmon. We can't catch salmon during the ice fishing season. So I kind of stopped using it. But one of these times I'm going to do a video on like what colors to use when. Profile matters the most. So these are the baits. See how the tails all stuck together? Put them in the bag here and hit them with a little bit of that oil. And that'll loosen them up. And I just had someone ask me, oh, can I use these for New Hampshire? Go right ahead. You probably won't catch something. And the jig that goes in these, should go in these, is this Mega Beast here. This is a 6 or 7/0 VMC Barbarian hook with a 2-ounce lead on the front of it. It's the only thing that I sell is lead. I wonder why this chair was so low. Thank you. So I designed the mold with a mold maker. Actually, he's not a mold maker, but he's a machinist. A random guy that I met ice fishing has a CNC machine, so we worked on the design together and took a couple reiterations to get it right. But once we got it right, it's been great, and it's a combination of the sassy shad that I had, and then the other shad that I had, and then the pin smelt, which is just a slick swim. I got rid of all those and invented my own mold. What's up, Fishing Life HD? I'm on here cutting tubes. Found a spot last fall. There were 100 native brookies spawning in a little creek. That's awesome. Ever fished Island Pond? I have not. So I have not fished a lot of inland lake trout lakes in Vermont. 0 in New York. But I plan on fishing Lake George if it freezes. But I gotta have good intel to make it worth that. That's a 3 hour plus drive. I'd rather go there in the boat, actually. Getting rigged up for Champlain. Nice. I don't know. I've never been to Moosehead, so sounds like Maine Fish and Game wants you to kill all of the small togue. They're kind of having the same problem as Sebago, where they're overrun with a bunch of hammer handles, as we call them. So you might get burbot on it. You might catch some Lakers on it, but this is a huge snack for a Laker. Most Lakers will eat something about half their size. I would be hard pressed to see a 12-inch Laker eat that. Just saying. Head in there on Monday. I would use the Winnie kit 100% on Moosehead. I've had people send me pictures from Moosehead using the Winnie kit. They're like, I haven't caught shit here before. And then they use the Winnie kit. They're like, I caught a bunch. What's a dream fishing trip of mine? I went on it 2 years ago, and it wasn't exactly what I was expecting. I went out to Lake Superior and caught 40-inch Lakers, but we were with a guide, which was a little bit different. But I really want to do like a fly-in Canadian trip. And literally go hammer some big freaking big Lakers and just spend a week out there just hammering big fish. I also have redfish on my bucket list. Fly fishing for redfish is on there for sure. Yeah, Togue Derby. Yeah, the Moosehead Togue Derby. Yeah, I didn't know there was one. I kind of knew there was one up there, and I was supposed to do Moosehead. I was actually supposed to do Moosehead this fall for a day with my boat, and then my wife talked me out of it. and then we ended up going for Char anyway. So ended up being gone right before my daughter was born, which, if you can imagine, wasn't a big sell to my wife. To kind of answer TR's question, the Lakers can be anywhere. Amazon, I think I catch some red tail or something. That would be kind of crazy. I've seen, yeah, I have no desire really to catch catfish and stuff. And it's funny, like when I went out to Superior, right? You have a 40-inch fish, and you're fighting it, and they're fighting to the death, right? They're old fish. Some of them probably never been caught before. And you have a matter of seconds to get this fish back in the water, otherwise it's just not going to survive. It just fought, because you don't really get to enjoy the fish and like look at it and how pretty that they are. But if it was a client catching it, and I get to see their fish. Like I was more excited about Ryan catching them than I was, because I get to see his fish, and so it's weird. Yeah, 17 to 18. East Grand. Yeah, I haven't caught. Apparently, the Lakers I've been catching in Champlain are the rats. The smaller ones, so the 27 to 33s are the smaller ones. Apparently, there's 40 inchers in there, but people have been giving me crap for catching the smaller ones. Whatever. Almost done with this guy's order. I feel like you guys aren't slowing me down, which is good. I was worried about that. Yeah, some species of catfish, not all of them. I also don't think catfish are very pretty. But the char family is pretty. Now, we just did see Jay Seaman's video where he went to Alaska and caught those beautiful orange Arctic char, which I've been to Alaska, and I asked to go to char, but they weren't around yet. So I didn't get to catch them. I caught Dolly Vardens, a bunch of other species up there. I do want to go for bull trout. Bull trout's on the list too. Bull trout, I've gone for them before, didn't catch any. Bull trout and big Arctic char would be nice, which maybe I can do that Maine next year. A cusk live out of water. Yeah, I mean, it was slowly dying, but I'm sure it was fine for a while. They're pretty rugged creatures. The ones that I've caught, I've had them flopping around the ice for a while. So normally you guys don't see me dispatch fish very often, but I'm caving that fish's head in, or I'm scabbing it so it's deceased. So it doesn't suffer on the ice the whole time. Most of us in the chat here are in the Northeast. What's happening, Western Mass Outdoor Boys? We're on here packing orders. I got an order going to Saskatchewan, I think. Oh, Canada. First class international packing. 5 of these. These poor guys got to pay like $25 in shipping. Sucks for them, but I wish I had another way. We're in the Northeast United States, most of us, or at least that's where I'm from, and like a couple people in the chat. Day was good. Got a haircut today, finally. We got 5 packs of these bad boys. Hopefully, head into a fish. That's 40 inches long. There's that. Pack and slip. That's sweet. I also want to go to the Niagara River for Lakers because I've heard that's a blast. I know someone who's done it, so I could probably ask, but I want to fish Wachusett Reservoir this year just because there's a ton of people that ask me, what should I, actually someone just emailed me, what should I use there? Actually, just DM me, what should I use there? And I said the Winnie Kicks. I'm pretty sure there's smelt in there. So some of these labels, you gotta like smush them on there. All right, another order going to Canada. 3 out of 30. Oh, gotta cut more tubes. Would love to join you in Wachusett. Yeah, I've never been down there. 2 packs of white. Winnie Kit works everywhere in New England, and it's basically just finesse fishing because our bait fish are so small. But I was actually using it on Lake Champlain yesterday. I was using this hook, 1/4 ounce hook, with a live shiner on the back of it, and the Lakers are just destroying it. White Pearl Super Glow. This is 1 pack. Right. This is the white ones. The white glow ones. I wish I had a button to turn off the lights in here because that'd be sweet. My tube cutting station is kind of a wonky mess. I keep saying I'm gonna redo it, but I get too far behind on orders. Just tossed out a Senko and they hit it. Nice. Yeah, I've seen the pictures of Lakers eating Senkos and rubber worms and stuff. And I've tried it before, and I actually have not caught one yet on it, but pretty much everything eats Senkos, so. Gary Yamamoto knew what he was doing. And so the Champlain video won't be out for a little while. But I'm trying to get, so I have a sponsored video. I'm surprised they haven't bugged me yet. So these sponsored videos are such a pain in the butt. But I wanted another portable camera. What weight hook are you recommending for glide tubes? So for this one, I sell a 2 ounce jig. And now this jig, this tube bait is designed around this jig. So 2 ounces. It's got an extra long hook, so you don't need to add a stinger to go back to the hook, because that usually just mangles up the fish. So the hook is really far back, and it's actually, balanced for this jig so it glides properly. So that's that one. For the 3.5, I sell 3/4 ounce jig hooks right there, and those are also balanced, so they actually sit parallel to the bottom of the lake. Ouija mold guy would cut skirts into the mold. I would kiss you right now if you could design that for me, because I'm sitting here talking to you guys, cutting these stupid effing things. But once my mold guy gets me more molds, I should be able to crank them out a little bit faster. Right now, I can only do half a shot, half an order at a time, basically. That's why I charge so much. So there's a lot of handling in tubes. That's why a lot of companies charge a lot for them. And I do have one tube mold that does it automatically, which is sweet. My 6-pounder is big. But you put that in front of the lake. Nice. You'll have the smelt molds done, but not when are you working on these molds? These are the ones I really need. These are slow as hell, man. Slow as hell. Yeah, I know scarcity is important, as always, but I've only done the scarcity mindset kind of like once, and that did really well for me, and that's how the big bait kit got basically in stock full time. But I only sell people order. I only make to order. So PB lake trout, not from a Great Lake. So Champlain would be the biggest one. It's like 33 inches, and it was like 13 pounds or something like that. Yeah, 13 pounds, and my biggest one from Maine is like 32 inches. Biggest from New Hampshire is like 28.5. Always get that question. I got all the specs memorized. You charge 20 pounds is huge. Well, yeah, my biggest one from Great Lakes is 40.5 inches or something like that, and that's around 20 pounds. Great big fatty. Average length on Champlain is I would say 27 inches. And it depends on the day too. Some days we just freaking hammer the bigger ones, and then other days it's they run small. I don't know if we're in a smaller school or the smaller school's coming through, but I've run into that issue before. And I just listened to, if you guys want to educate yourself on fish, listen to the Doc Talks fishing podcast. The stuff that they talk about on there is absolutely incredible. They have biologists on, and they actually talk. It's not just a bunch of guys drinking Budweiser and talking about what they think fish are doing. It's a bunch of biologists that are getting paid to do the research. Yeah, they just had a really cool podcast about ice fishing for pike, and how they were talking about it was what happens is there'll be, most people call it a wolf pack, and I call it a wolf pack too, a wolf pack of smaller pike. And they were calling them teenagers. This is up in northern Canada. Teenager pike, which are anywhere between 35 to 38 inches, will come through and bang up a bunch of bait, right? And what happens is the senior pike, those 40 inchers, are rolling in behind them and acting like a cleanup crew and stealing bait right out of the teenager's mouth, basically. The instant I heard that, I knew I was kind of on something. So I've been on multiple trips on Champlain and Sebago where we are hammering cookie cutters. Actually, and New Hampshire. Hammering cookie cutters, 24 inches, 27 inches on Champlain, back to back to back. And if you just stay a little bit longer, a big one's hearing the commotion and comes in, acts like a cleanup crew. That's how my biggest one in Sebago was caught. That's how my biggest one in Champlain was caught. I just stayed in an area for a while until a big one came in. And that's usually like north towards the end of the day. But I haven't proved that with anybody else yet. Yeah, double digits is hard to break, especially in if you're not hunting for them, if you're not using like giant baits or big suckers. Because even most 30 inches here in New England don't weigh 10 pounds, or they're not double digits. They're like 8 to 9. A lot of our fisheries aren't managed well enough bait wise. I just heard someone saying there's a bunch of big Lakers in Winnipesaukee. I'm like, not that I know of. How would you rig up a 32-inch, 4-pound swim bait for muskie and pike? I wouldn't. Most times accurate, plenty over that, I'd say. Fish in the north half. Yeah, I'm sure you catch some 40 inches. I've got some big pike on Champlain. You won't see videos. I have some videos of pike, but most of the time I was doing, bass tournaments, I'd edit those out of the video. Yeah, so the average on Champlain, like every once in a while you'll catch a small one and that'll bring the average down a little bit, but 27, 28. Trophies of 30, and some days I'll catch 5 or 6 ones that are over 30. The average seemed a little bit smaller when I was there on yesterday. I caught one that was like Winnie size. I was shocked, actually. Caught my first muskie this year, a small one, but caught one nonetheless. First muskie, well, not this year, but last year. First Arctic char last year. Last year was a good year. Good year. I still have the Snow Dog. I have the 2022 Sport, which is the legacy model. And I do like it for what I use it for. Now, most people, including me, I would love to have the Snow Dog, and I would love to have a super fast ice fishing ready, fan cooled snowmobile for times like now where we actually have ice, so I can whiz across the broad of the lake or whatever, like big part of the lake. Then you're up into like the $300 of registration for 2 things. So I do like it. There is some issues with the Snow Dog. I listed them in my last video. I do like it, and they just dropped their price. I think they finally caught on that the market out there was like, everybody's like, that cost that much, really? But I still use the Snow Dog. I used it the other day, and someone earlier in the chat there was asking, like, can I see your Snow Dog? I'm like, nope. It actually, last year I had a Chevy Colorado, so a 5-foot bed. Now I have a 6.5-foot bed, Silverado. That Snow Dog stays in my truck from January to December 31st, because that's when our lake trout season opens, all the way into the middle of March. Like, it just lives in my truck. The only places I go really is to go fishing. So it just lives in the back of the truck. It's only 300 pounds. My ice fishing sleds stay in there, so any moment all I do is pop my sonar in, and literally all my clothes, all my ice fishing gear stays in my truck, so I'm always ready to go. Can't really do that with snowmobile. So I need 4 jig hooks. Do you fish real deep water on Sebago? Yes, I fish up to 180 feet on Sebago in the wintertime. And the reason for that is I think that's where the warmest water is for the alewife and the landlocked alewife. Now, I can't prove that yet. I'm gonna buy a thermometer at one point that I can drop on a line, one of those fish hawks. Improve that. But I think those alewives are sensitive to cold water and they want to be down deep. Yeah, most of ours are caught down deep. I haven't ice fished Sebago in 2-3 years. Which channels do I watch? Yeah, those are the channels I watch. So Clayton Schick, obviously. And I only watch his lake trout stuff. I don't watch his walleye. Like, I watch some of his boat stuff just because I like his boat setup. I might be able to do this. Where's this going? This one's going to Minnesota. So I watch. You know, I'll do a big package. I watch Wildfly, so they're a fly fishing channel. I watch them every once in a while for cinematic inspiration. And then I watch Clayton Schick, Jay Siemens, Fishing Geeks. I like Fishing Geeks. They're not very, filmy guys, but they know how to catch fish. And I also don't watch a lot of YouTube. Like, if Jay has a competition series that comes up, something like that, I'll watch that series. But most of the time I'm out here doing this kind of stuff. Or out fishing. I gotta take this Mr. Buddy heater apart because it's like whistling and doing all sorts of funky stuff. And it blew up in my face the other day when it was like flipping 2 degrees out. Wasn't very happy about it. and I'm guiding clients soon, so I want to have that up and running. More tubes. It is not possible to use side imaging for Lakers for ice fishing. Side imaging is a moving, you have to be moving for side imaging. Because what side imaging does, side imaging is actually really cool how it works. So what side imaging does, and I'll use a sticky note because I have one. Side imaging is actually taking a screenshot like this, kind of better obviously, but it's taking a very small scan thousands of times horizontally, so it does not work when you're stagnant. Did Fishing Geeks release a new video? If I haven't, I don't know if I have them set on notifications or not. I get enough notifications on my phone all the time, but you guys are going to get to see me pack a Winnie kit in about 2 seconds here. Well, that was stupid. What are your thoughts on how skinny some of the fish are coming through the ice and Winnie this year? So, I've heard indirectly through the grapevine that the population on Winnipesaukee of smelt is not doing well, which is why our lake trout are getting skinnier. So they're just not eating. And 2 years ago, I was seeing so much bait, and where I've only fished Winnie twice this year, I haven't seen any bait at all. So I don't know, guys. I'm nervous because that's obviously, you know, close to home and I fish it quite often. But yeah, and the biologists are kind of saying the same. They're either not finding the bait or they are choosing other options. So multiple times this summer on Newfound and on Winnipesaukee, I found the Lakers were just eating. What were they eating? They were just eating bugs. They were eating stoneflies they were hatching, or they were eating, what do you want to call it? Midge hatches, which are like, if you got a flat, calm day and you have a midge hatch, might as well just go home. It's so annoying. They're eating like size 22 hooks. Like, it's just nuts. So that's what my thing is. Smelt population isn't doing well. And then, so apparently, this is how they word it. Winnipesaukee and Fish and Game in their infinite wisdom, they go at night with a sonar. There's a video on YouTube with a sonar at night. I don't know what time of year it is, summer or something like that. They go at night and they scan areas of the lake and they basically get an average of the smelt population. The smelt actually go to the surface at night. They do a calculation, some sort of special numbers, whatever, and they spit out how many salmon they're supposed to stock in Lake Winnipesaukee every year. How many salmon they're allowed to stock in Winnipesaukee. Well, they just stocked a epic crap ton. This last season. And so you stock something that's like a barracuda. I mean, salmon swim super fast. They're aggressive eaters. And I want to know in the comments right now, if you think landlocked salmon are native to Winnipesaukee or not. Yes, if they are. No, if they're not. Just give you guys a guess. What do you guys think? Lakers do eat perch for sure. They try to only eat perch fry, like smaller perch, because perch are spiny. This is my opinion. Obviously, not a lake trout. But yeah, the answer is they've been stocking landlocked salmon in Lake Winnipesaukee since like 1880 to support the fishing industry. So they're not supposed to be there at all. They're not supposed to be in there. That's how Fish and Game words it on their website. They've been stocking them since 1880. They're not supposed to be in there. So you put something that's not supposed to be in there, that's super fast, and then you put 60,000+ of them in there every year. And then they compete with Lakers that are native in there. Like, what do you think is going to happen? Nothing good. Nope. So they're, dude, help me figure it out. Lakers. You're very welcome. No. Yeah, I don't think any of the waters in New Hampshire were. So the Merrimack River used to have probably Atlantic salmon back before we started damming it up and putting paper mills and stuff in. But yeah, they're not supposed to be there. We're gonna pack a Winnie kit. And browns aren't supposed to be here either. So we only had a few native species here in New Hampshire, lake trout being one of them. And there's only like 4 lakes out of the 24 that we have that are supposed to have lake trout in them. The rest of them have been stocked by Fish and Game. Yeah, tell them to make it happen, man. I already caught a couple of salmon in Pittsburgh already. Caught one on Winnipesaukee the other day. And I'm thinking about just to get the guys riled up. And the biggest part is, there's a guide association in Hampshire. I am not part of it. What I've heard is that guide association, and if anybody's a guide in this chat from New Hampshire, feel free to chime in. This is what I've heard, that guide association has a big pull with the state of saying, please stock lots of salmon because there's a dozen plus guides. I don't know if it's a dozen. There's a handful of guides in Winnipesaukee that's all they guide for is those salmon. That's their livelihood. They don't target Lakers. They don't target anything else. Maybe rainbows by accident. So this is the Winnie kit in its raw form. So I shoot them, they come out at a 90 degree, and then I basically let them hang for 2 or 3 days. And I pick them off and I put them in the box. And now these are the glow in the dark ones, and if I shut the light off, these things would glow like crazy. Which, if my garage wasn't a mess, I would walk over there and do that. So that was glow in the dark. This is my chartreuse. We cannot keep salmon. We can't even take the salmon out of the ice during the ice fishing season. So I have to unhook it at the hole. happens most of the time is the stupid things cruise right underneath the ice. I see them with live scope. Sometimes Lakers will do that too. So I reel right up to them and I hook them and I boat flip them on the ice before I realize what it is. Because if you want to lose a fish, hook it right underneath the ice when they're green and they have nowhere to run. It's a great way to pop off a fish. He was born nice. Yeah, the rock bass population doesn't help. I thought about, instead of, I think the Winnipesaukee Derby is not happening this year. That same weekend, getting all the trolling guys, basically having a rock bass derby. We just need to find someone who can take all of those and throw them away. There's your Winnie kit. $36.50. And they ordered one more glow. Yeah, so the rock bass don't help. The rock bass are eating. I have seen rock bass wandering around in super deep water, high up in the water column, looking for, I'm guessing, bugs or smelt, right? So they are competing. But just like Sunapee was overrun with rock bass. I mean, I've done the rock bass tournament there. We caught like 65, just my wife and I, and then like the group for the day, we killed like 2,000 rock bass in like 4 hours, and that was like a handful of boats. Need to put a bounty on their heads. They're not supposed to be in there. You do like other states, like the Yellowstone, where they're paying $5 to $15, I think, a head for lake trout, which I hate to see, but they're not supposed to be in there. Get them out of there. We can take them, give them to lobster fishermen. Yeah, for sure. They'll use them. I don't know if that's a great bait for lobster guys or not. I know they like using suckerfish, because I've done a video where I was spearing suckerfish, and everybody's like, "Oh, I'll take those. I'll pay you." I'm pretty sure I need a bait license for that. But I guess someone used to host a rock bass derby on Winnie. I don't know who it was, but the one on Sunapee is put on by their Park and Rec or something like that, and it's not managed well at all. Like, you couldn't find dates, couldn't find start time, couldn't find any like rules or regulations. There's no prize money. It's a really weird. It's like a free for all basically, but no structure around it. If that makes any sense. Well, I'm telling you right now, I could not be making baits and talking to you guys at the same time. And I'm in my junk clothes. Only thing you guys see me in, like, probably, I don't know, anywhere from October to March, April, May, June, I'm wearing my ice fishing suit. I literally live in that thing. More freaking glide baits. People love these things. $100% do a derby for that. Yeah, I think it would be fun. I don't know if the trolling guys would do it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they probably just beat the bank. They probably know there's a ton of rock bass. I know there's a ton just in Alton Bay. I mean, you can peck at anybody's dock all the way out there, and you'll catch a crap ton of rock bass. But I think it'd be cool. I could probably get a permit for it for sure. And I thought about getting a permit just for the what do you want to call it? So, you know, the only reason they're not having the Derby is because the salmon population was garbage. And if they did the Derby now, it would be, you know, everybody would be placing with 19-inch salmon. We'd have one person that would catch a big fish. So that's why they're canceling it, obviously. But if you guys want to go out this spring, so 1, 2, 3, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You guys want to go out this spring and catch a bunch of salmon? Book a charter with me. We'll go out and we'll cast to them. You guys want to hear something funny? So I've officially stopped posting on Facebook groups, like any sort of the fishing groups. They're just terrible. There's always some hater on there that doesn't like me and wants to ruin the good picture of a client or something like that. So I stopped doing that. But last year, I went out and filmed those couple videos of me catching salmon with live scope, and people were mad at me for catching fish. They're like, oh, leave those salmon alone. Those are for next year. I'm like, well, if they're of size right now, I can take them home. So I don't know what you're complaining about. People like to complain. Greetings from Breezy Point, Minnesota. Don't know where that is. I'm sure you don't know where I live either. Haters gonna hate. This is for sure, man. It's a ridiculous time that we live in. And the thing is like, you go out to Minnesota, for example, or where I was for like Lake Superior angling and stuff like that. You know, every fish that hits the boat, king salmon, whatever, they're killing it. They're killing it and eating it. Like, I don't think there's very many of the catch and release style like we do have on the East Coast, but maybe I'm wrong. How's the burbot fishing been? I have only caught burbot once this year, but I've only gone for it once. And I kind of stopped posting about burbot because it's a very weird species, like demographic wise. It's kind of like carp. Like, people don't know what they're about. People don't know that they taste good. And so it's not worth my time going out to target them and do videos because people don't really care that much. I know they have them out west. Pretty much any of the lake trout lakes have some sort of burbot in them. But yeah, we caught some nice ones on our New Year's trip there. We would have caught more if we set up, you know, more in our deeper water, which is not normally how I fish for them. And people always say, "Oh, why don't you? Do you eat them sometimes?" I'm like, "Yes, I do eat them, but not when I'm exhausted and have a 4-hour car ride home. And that's the last thing I want to do is deal with a frozen burbot where I have to skin it and fillet it and then cook it, because I don't like freezing fish. I think it doesn't help with the texture of fish, especially like a fish like that. I'd rather eat it fresh, you know? Are there any good lakes around us that aren't electrolyte for burbot? I was looking at. No, they're all lake trout lakes, I'm pretty sure. No, there's a couple on the Cusk fishing list. So if you go to the rule book and just download the rule book off of onto your phone and then search the word Cusk, and you'll find the list. Like Lake Wentworth and a couple other random ones have burbot in them, so you can set lines out there. Where I was just catching them was sandy area near a big drop off. So I was on 30 feet on a silty flat, and then it went down to 60. Right on that edge right there, that's where I catch most of them. That's where I would suggest to go. I use the same jig. Yep, I use the Winnie kit. For my biggest one came off of the little tungsten jigs that I sell. The thing about burbot is they're very noise motivated because they can't really see, kind of like a catfish. So what I'll do is I'll have like a 1 ounce down there or like a rattle trap down there, and I'll be pounding bottom. You want to make as much noise as possible. I'll be doing that, and then I'll have the Winnie kit down there side by side, and I'm usually using an underwater camera. So I'm picking and choosing when to set the hook. If it's a small bird, I won't even bother setting the hook. I have seen big burbs come out of the state record, came out of Winnie. My biggest one is out of Winnie. It's 27 3/4. Because the only reason I know that trophy size is 28 inches. I actually talked to the guy before he went to jail who had the state record burbot. Do you ever fish for walleyes? I have I've fished for walleyes quite often, actually. Like usually once or twice a year, and I actually did a video. I tried to do a video over in Vermont for walleyes this year. I hooked one 2 minutes before we were supposed to leave, and didn't make it in the video, or I didn't make a video out of it. But I know nothing about walleyes besides what I've learned from YouTube, so not much. I lived in mostly Maine back in the 90s. Lobster cheaper than. Interesting. And I don't do a lot of overnight trips where I would go for burbot. I thought about offering like burbot trips for guiding, but I don't want to be up all night guiding people or leaving them out on the ice. It's just too much liability and stuff. And also, burbot, there's no closed season for burbot, so you can go out there December 31st in the boat and jig for burbot in the boat, which is what I did, not this year, but the previous year. We didn't catch any, so I didn't make a video out of it. can't make enough of these damn things. As crappy as what everyone is fishing on my lake in Minnesota. What kind of tube hooks do you use? So I sell my own. These are 5/0 heavy duty Victory. That's 3/4 ounce. And then I sell this one for my bigger stuff. This is 2 ounce with a Barbarian BMC hook. And this is, I think, 6/0, maybe 7/0. It's huge. One, two, three, four. But please, 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 guys, do not use bass fishing tube jigs for lake trout. They will snap them and they will bend them out. Unless you can hold the hook in your hand and like bend it a little bit, like figure out if it's heavier gauge or not, because I had a giant snap the hook last fall on me. I was so mad because I couldn't find my baggie of my good hooks. Get them there, Andrew. Bro, have you made an OnlyFans? I thought about it. I could sell my fishing locations on OnlyFans. You literally dress up and point on the map or something. Yep, these are all handmade. Jigs are all handmade down in Massachusetts. Handmade. Last year, speaking of some serious scratch, last year was very good. This year is already starting to be very good in the month of January, which is good. And I actually run 2 businesses. I run the Bendit Fishing business, which is what you're watching now. And I actually run a consulting and facilitating business, which is where I go into manufacturers here in New Hampshire, mostly small to medium-sized manufacturers, and I actually help their processes get better and faster. So if you guys ever see me on an Instagram reel or something like an Instagram story where I'm dressed up, that's why. So I still do that. That pays really too well to leave. Hopefully at some point, you guys will buy enough bait that I can have someone else in the United States make these for me. I'm trying to keep them stateside, obviously. Because I'm telling you right now, Guggen Squad stuff, I don't think their stuff's made in the United States. But I've never bought any of their stuff, so. Hello from Indonesia. Tubes, you can make them chase the tubes. You can make them chase the tubes. Tubes are a little more versatile, I feel. Like, you can hit them on the bottom. And tubes kind of like they flutter. They do their little thing, and they actually have more action just like chilling in the water column compared to a swim bait. So I just watched a video of a guide in Alaska guiding for Lakers. And all they did was they put the rod on a tip down. The rod is balanced with just a piece of tube and a piece of chum hanging off the back. And the Lakers would just hit it dead stick. And they just hook themselves. It was the silliest thing you've ever seen. I don't fish a lot of tubes because I don't like line twist. Not my jam. 5 of those hooks. Do you do any fly fishing? Yes, I do fly fishing. So I actually learned to fly fish before I knew how to use a spinning rod. So my dad is a hardcore fly fisher person, and my channel was bass fishing for a while, and then I was whatever I wanted for a while, and then I'm like, oh, these fly fishing videos are actually really doing well, so let me just switch to straight fly fishing. And I received so much negative commentary and feedback. There is no more stuck up, entitled freaking brat community than the fly fishing community. I mean, just atrocious. Like getting confronted in a parking lot, having death threats for naming places, like absolutely awful. Diana fishes for lake trout with dead bait on the bottom. Yeah. Yeah, community of fly fishers is a bunch of dicks. There's no reason for it. So I fly fish. I'm gonna be doing some. I'm gonna fly fish for some Lakers this spring, hopefully. I'm gonna force myself to. I love fly fishing. One of the things I love doing is I just got into it last year, actually the year before last, was blue lining for wild brook trout. One of my funnest things I do. And the videos were doing well. And then they weren't, so I don't know what happened there. It's just people weren't really interested in it. But like no technology, no screens to look at, just fiberglass fly rod and little brook trout. So I'll be doing some fly fishing for Lakers for sure. I'll be doing some trolling soon, hopefully in the springtime. There goes another one, guys. There goes another one, guys. We're down to 26 orders. I'm gonna yeet this freaking propane heater out the window. I'm still live. This guy, I'm not gonna name who he is, but this particular guy that I'm shipping out for has, I'm pretty sure, screwed me over before, which I'm not happy about. Said he got a bunch, I shipped him a bunch of stuff, said he didn't get a bunch of stuff. Not happy about it. So I'm taking a picture of his order. Don't you hate like people that want to screw over small businesses? No reason for it, folks. And I'm back. Love to walk through your mold system. Yeah, it's not pretty right now, but I'll show after this order. I can show it to you. So nothing in my garage is pretty right now, because what happens is I'm trying to run the bait making business and home maintenance and snow dog maintenance all out of this garage. And I'm setting up for a new toy in the spring, so I'm getting some other things taken care of that I just had shipped to the house, which is filling up my garage. So, but I'll show it to you in a minute. No, are you ordering big tubes, like the wing glide tubes? If I call them wing tubes, that's the first name I came out with, and then people kept calling them glide tubes, and I actually like the name better, so I switched it. When fly fishing, do you target Lakers on drops, ledges, or any other structure? Yeah, blue lining is, I think it's either a 2-weight or a 3-weight fiberglass rod, and I thought it was in here, but it's in my basement. Just a cheaper one off Amazon. For Lakers, I try to target humps. So basically, underwater mountains in like fairly shallow water. So ones I fish on Champlain are there's 30 feet around them, and they're probably 12 feet on top. So you can't zoom right up on top. You got to like kind of stay back. But I am like, if we had 40 degrees this week up on Champlain, I'd winterize my boat and go up there right now. Like that's how much I'm already over ice fishing. And some people are saying like, oh, how are you over ice fishing already? Well, I've been ice fishing since the Monday after Thanksgiving. Last 3 years in a row, that's when I've been on the ice. And that's like going hard. Like I try to get on the ice a bunch of times during early ice season, which I shouldn't do, but everybody loves watching that content. And then I'm usually off the ice mid-March, which is my plan again this year. Because people are already thinking about open water. Could you possibly do a blue lining video? I have a bunch of blue lining videos. So if you go to my channel and look up just the word blue lining, it'll come up, or look at the fly fishing playlist. You'll see a lot of blue lining videos from two years ago was when I did a majority of them. I loved doing it. I camped out on some of them. It was awesome. Brought my son to a couple. He was catching brookies. It was 4 at the time. Do you have a PB Laker taxidermy? No, I do not. If I was to have one taxidermy, it'd be that 40-incher I had in Lake Superior, but I never got enough good pictures to really get a mount of it, and it's still super expensive. I have fished the Farmington in Connecticut. And I was just talking to someone about that the other day. I fished it. I used to live in Connecticut when I was going there for school. And I had a work friend, coworker, turned into a friend, whatever you want to call him. It's like, oh yeah, let's go fish it. So we took our canoe, got a bunch of info. Took my canoe, got a bunch of info from Bait Shop or whoever. I don't know where we got the info from. Got that. Got a 30 rack of like Coors Light and a bunch of Subway sandwiches, and we floated down the Farmington for like 8 hours and caught a bunch of trout. That was before I started doing YouTube. So I fished that once, and then the other time I fished it from shore, also drinking. This is when I was younger, before I met my wife. Floating down the river and fell down a ledge there, drinking, smashed my leg. You must love the Four Brothers area. Yes, that area is fairly good. But I found some other areas on Champlain that are like, that I'm not disclosing quite yet. So I plan on doing the LCI. But they're not far from there. I usually hit the same spots. The Farmington fish is better than Pittsburgh. Yeah, when I fished the Farmington, I did not know what we were doing, like fish wise. We were just two guys floating down a river. I think we were using spin gear for the most part. But one of my funniest videos on the funniest times on the Farmington was drinking, fishing from shore. I was kind of like after work. I don't even know why we were up there. I was casting a dry fly. Dry fly. And I'm like, bang, catch a fish, bring it in. Bang, miss one. Bang. Like as soon as I hit the water, they would hit it. And I miss it. And we were so drunk, we didn't care. And so I finally checked the fly, and the J of the hook was broken. I could have been there all day, not catch one. Whitefish near us or VT or Maine. In which lake would you catch whitefish? I know they're in Champlain. I've never caught one. I know there's some places in eastern Maine that have them because there's some guides that post them during the ice fishing season. But that's all I can tell you. I know really nothing about whitefish. Besides, I know lake trout love them. I am in New Hampshire. Live free or die. I fished Champlain one time from shore. What kind of bait is in Champlain? Champlain has like damn near every species you can imagine. But the biggest forage in there is alewives. So landlocked. Actually, they're not really landlocked. Alewives. And that is what is in Sebago as well. So that's why I sell grubs and swim baits like this, because it's in that same profile size category. I mean, I've had personally days on Champlain where I've caught like 75 Lakers. I have not caught a big fall fish in Winnie. I've seen them. I usually catch my fall fish in Pittsburgh. Fly fishing, they're freaking super fun on the fly rod. If that's what you're targeting. If you're targeting like salmon and rainbows, they're super annoying. Because it's like, oh, I have this monster fish, and they fight for a little bit and then they give up. Yeah, well, whitefish is on my bucket list. Never caught a whitefish. Actually, you know what? I have caught a whitefish. Did I? I think I caught a whitefish in Alaska. I don't. I'd have to go watch my own video. That's how. Many videos I have. I know my dad caught one. He's caught one in New Hampshire too. People catching fly fishing in New Hampshire in the Connecticut River system. I don't know. I don't even know what time it is, guys. It's probably 10 o'clock. I'm going to be live for, I don't know, quite a bit longer, and I'm probably going live again tomorrow too. This keeps me way more entertained than just doing this by myself. I'd like to have someone come over and help me pack, because packing's monotonous. But stuff's got to go out the door, you know? And I was also like about to fall asleep before I came out in the garage and started working, because I still have that newborn child that sleeps in my bed, you know? North of Commerce Bay and Shelburne Point area. Yo, what's happening? You ever fish Winnisquam? Yes. I have deleted videos from Winnisquam because they weren't getting any views. And I was talking to a couple people from Fish and Game. They're like, lake trout are super hard to catch in Winnisquam. I'm like, I had no issue. I caught a bunch of lake trout in Winnisquam. So I don't know what that thing is. Good luck on Winnisquam. Winnisquam's the only lake in New Hampshire that has alewife in it. Keep that in mind. Doesn't really change anything. You can still use the Winnie kit. This message is hell for you. I want to see those videos. I will unlock that video. Got potentially inappropriate. Hold on. Thank you for your order. Appreciate it. Yeah. I'm not a moderator, just handle that. Whoever else is the moderator, thank you. They just gonna be making the metal airplane jigs. Huh. Interesting. All right, for once I actually have something in stock. So this guy ordered 2 of these and 2 3-inch swim baits. These are glow in the dark as well. And then 3 Burp Shark stickers, which I hopefully have enough. I haven't checked my stock in a long time. Ooh, I gotta order more Burp Shark stickers. You guys ever seen the Burp Shark sticker? Looks like it is a lake trout. All right, 3 of those. Does it help to shine an LED headlamp on lures to make them glow? Yes and no, depending on what type of LED you have. So this right here, you guys can see that. That's actually a UV LED. It's a different spectrum of light. That helps tremendously, helps them glow. Like, watch this. This is one of my tungstens. Like, you can see how that thing's glowing right there. If you shine a normal LED on that, it'll be brighter, but not as bright as that. Does it help to shine big lake trout and Sebago, boys? Oh yeah, I know. I've caught some, not a bunch, but some. All right, if anybody's on my Instagram, actually, you know what? Let me see if I can do this. There we go. Just took a screenshot of myself holding up this order because this is the guy that I was concerned about messing up the freaking. It's the only person who's claimed that they haven't got something, and I shipped over 1,000 orders. Yeah, probably, I don't know, 1,500 by now. That's just on this website. I had another website before this. And then I gotta get a pair of scissors. Hold on. It does help to have monitors. So I use Bait Plastics 342, which is super strong, super heavy, obnoxious stuff to work with. But it's the only way you can get plastics to last with lake trout because they just shred the damn things. Hold on, I'm cutting a piece of cardboard. So what I do with my stickers is I tape them to cardboard so they don't get all banged up. This live is great. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for saying some saves in order. Also, what you know about 2-pound bluegill? Nothing. We do have bluegill that big, but not very common. Our growing season in where I live, I don't know where you're from, is super short for that type of species. But our trophy bluegill is like 10 inches, something like that. Not very big. Where are you from? I am from Manchester, New Hampshire. Technically, that's where I'm located. Baby coming along the line. And we are packing orders right now. Going out to customers. What's your tip-up setup for Lakers? I do not use tip-ups for Lakers. And I have a video coming out about why. You're from Manchester. Yep. Fair enough, dude. I'm from Ontario, Canada. I get a lot of orders from Ontario. Now that you guys' postal service is not on strike. Oh, come on. Got a Lucas going from Grand Junction, Colorado. Hopefully I have enough baits to cover this. Oh, so yeah, let me show you the mold setup. So I have, these are my molds. I use a Presto Pot, giant exhaust fan. Heating thing to heat up all of my other stuff, heat up my molds, stirring pot, and then I actually have a liquid cooling system to cool my plastic, to cool the mold so I can demold them faster. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That one's junk. 16. Excuse me. I try not to offer local pickup. And the reason for that is my shipping is dirt cheap. Like, my shipping is whatever U.S. Postal Service charges, minus my Shopify discount, so I get commercial rates because I buy so much. And I only charge $1 extra for shipping. That just covers my packing material. Like most places in New England, it's $4 or something like that to ship, $4 to $5. The problem with local ship or local pickup is it becomes like Facebook Marketplace. And I just don't have time for that. Like, oh, are you available between 1 and 2 o'clock on a Tuesday? I'm like, no, I'm freaking out fishing, or it's the weekend and I'm gone. Like, I'm not going to just leave stuff on my front doorstep for people to pick up. I have done that, but it's not ideal. What's so slow? No, I'm in Manchester, New Hampshire. I don't know. Yeah, Manchester by the Sea. I think there's actually a place called that in New Hampshire. I think Portsmouth. Maybe that's Portsmouth by the Sea. I don't know. Trying to concentrate on not cutting myself. While using Canada Post as much as possible. Yeah, I didn't know that. So I didn't know you guys, the freaking Postal Service was on strike. Our Amazon's trying to be on strike. Stupid freaking people. We're trying to unionize and then trying to go on strike, which they have the right to do that. But it's, if Bezos was smart, he would just fire those people. And there's so many people looking for work, they would just hire new people on Amazon. That's just my opinion. And I've worked with unions before. They have their place. But anyways, yeah, I didn't know you guys were on strike until I was looking at old orders. I'm like, these haven't moved. They're stuck in JFK, which is our international shipping hub. So slow. Do you offer local? No. Going up the Fairly. I have not fished Fairly, but my cousin fishes it quite often. Pecking the cardboard over the hook is a nice touch. Yeah, I had this giant debate with my buddy. I'm like, how am I going to protect postal workers from not getting this giant hook jab? Then I'm like, put a piece of cardboard on there. I was going to do shrink wrap, but I buy striper stuff with the shrink wrap on it. You can't get the freaking stuff off the hook. So I'm hoping my subscribers are smart enough to take the cardboard off first. Just placed an order for Derby weekend. Awesome. Thank you. And whoever else is ordering, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Hold on, I'm cleaning up my razor blades. So this is how I cut my tails. It's just a stack of razor blades. That's all it is. And then I have an arbor press that I'm pressing it onto a piece of plastic. Do you have any pets? Yes, I have one dog named Copper. He's a Labradoodle. He's amazing. And he wanted to do his 1-year checkup today. He was awesome. He's getting old, though. He's 8 years old, so he's got, the sore hips and stuff. Sad to see a dog get old. How old am I? 36. What do you attempt getting Lakers from a kayak? What tactic would you suggest? What would I suggest? I would suggest. What would I suggest? I would suggest doing what I do. I mean, just go to a lake that has Lakers in it with live scope, ideally. If you don't have live scope, then get some sort of 2D sonar and just vertical jig on them. Go out on a non-windy day. I know people that have those foot pedal ones, and you can basically spot lock yourself and really do some damage on Lakers. I know people that do it on Champlain. But I would vertical jig. And then if you're real deep, I would troll with some lead core or something like that. Lead core or the 3-way rig, like I showed earlier in the spring, at the same time, because as long as you're suspending that, you won't get hung up on the bottom, and you have two chances to catch fish. What derby fishing, Winnie? When I went, the bite was good. So my first trip to Winnie, I caught a dozen. Second trip, I caught 4 or 5, but I knew that bite was gonna suck, but I had to go anyways. That was my opportunity to go fishing for the day or the week. And I don't fish as much as you guys think. Thinking about chasing white perch on Lakers day, burbs at night. Yeah, that's what everybody else does. I would not go to 19 Mile Bay. 19 Mile Bay has been hit hard. If you're on foot, try Meredith Bay or try Alton Bay or Guilford Beach, any of those other ones. But just 19 Mile just gets absolutely destroyed. Yeah, any of those other places I recommend. Yeah, Elacoya is probably locked right now too. And when I tell you places, check the damn ice. I'm not. The only place I haven't even been to 19 Mile this year. When you're seeing videos from me, I do not fish 19 Mile unless I absolutely have to. It's not that it gets hit hard. I think the thing is, some years the bait is in there and it just gets trapped in there. And then the bite's good because there's bait in there that just brings the Lakers in there, etc., etc. But if the bait's not in there, there's no reason for fish to be in there, and they just stay the frick out. Like, it's pretty simple. No food, no Lakers. Would you recommend? When are you going to collab with Maine Trout Whisperer again? I don't know. Him and I talked about doing some ice fishing content, but he's got a new kiddo at home too. He's got a full-time job. And he's building a cabin, which I think is done. From the last video I saw. But I haven't talked to him in a while. We wanted to do me come to his lake and go for some Lakers. I haven't bought a Maine license this year. Yeah, I haven't talked to Joe yet either this year. I know he's been doing all of his trapping video content, which is cool. And it's funny, like Maine Trout Whisperer and I took forever to finally get to go fishing together. And the video did terrible, like on both of our ends. His video did crap, my video did crap. It's just the end of the season where everybody's out in the deer stand hunting and stuff. People, lake trout on Sebago aren't on people's minds, which is fine. Yeah, someone just told me to go there actually. I know a couple of people that fish it. I think both Maine Trout Whisperer and Joe live right next to a lake trout lake. And both invited me to go, try them out, and I just haven't done it. Fish any Great Lakes before? Found your channel this fall. Tried to Lake Catoctin and started hammering them. Fished them never by now, eating big swim baits. That's awesome, man. I have fished the Great Lakes before. I fished Lake Superior 2 summers ago. I fished Lake Michigan in Wisconsin for browns and steelhead. And I basically fished the Salmon River, which is Lake Ontario, but not for lake trout. Obviously, salmon, which I plan on doing. I plan on fishing Lake Ontario this summer because I feel like let me know in the comments below if you guys think this is true. Like, let me know if you found my channel because you were searching for a specific body of water, or you found it for lake trout. Because if let's say I go fish Lake George, right? People are gonna and I name drop, which is fine because it's a giant lake. Lake George, title of it Lake George Lake Trout Bonanza or something like that, where I catch a bunch of Lakers. Maybe yes or no, I don't know. Catch a bunch of Lakers, great. If not, then I think people are going to search for the term Lake George ice fishing or Lake George lake trout, and I'll pop up, and they're now a subscriber. Where a Lake George person might never click on a Lake Winnipesaukee video because they live next to a way better lake. Awesome. Found me from his lake trout content. Also fish the Great Lakes. Awesome. Yeah, I think it's like, you know, lake trout is obviously the specialty on the channel. I wish I could do a lot more different stuff like I used to, but it just doesn't pay well. Chamberlain area. Chamberlain Lakes in Maine, right? Is that what we're talking about? I haven't fished any of those, and I had fished men for Magog, but not for. I fished it for salmon. I fished it for bass, but not for Lakers. Apparently, most of the Lakers are on the Canada side anyway. Grand Traverse Bay, like a lot of my orders come from that area. Like, I don't know if somebody's out there just telling everybody, like, you got to check out this channel because and check out these baits because I had a month where like all I was getting was orders from that area, which is great, obviously. Yeah, the thing about Lakers is they will be wherever the damn food is. And if the water's cold on the United States side, which it is, right? It's freezing, and there's bait down there, like there's white perch. I don't see why they wouldn't be on the U.S. side. I'm sure there's people that catch them. I mean, it's not like the Lakers need a passport to cross over, you know? And you got any other bait ideas? I do have a bait idea. Let me swing this by you guys. Give me 1 second. Come over here and we'll pack this order. I think this is all this guy ordered. 2 chartreuse, yeah. And this one's going to Grand Junction, Colorado. Thank you, Lucas, if you're on. So on lakes that have super aggressive Lakers, like Lake Champlain, one of the biggest issues is sometime I'm fishing in 120 feet is getting down to the bottom as fast as possible, right? Only way to do that is to have something really heavy and really heavy and really skinny, so it cuts to the water fast. So I'm going to show you this little template I got here. See if I can find it first. Hold on. So I'm going to call it Philadelphia. I don't know who that is. You know, when you pack my order. What's your order of Fish 603? What's your order number? So my lure idea is this. So my 2-ounce jig with something like this. So a split tail. This is just made out of clay, basically. And then this tail is going to collapse. It's going to be kind of weak, so it collapses on the way down. It's going to like dart straight down. Then it's going to sit horizontal, and those tails are going to open up. So the bait looks big when a lake trout's looking at it, so he can smoke it. But when it drops down, it's going to drop like a missile because that's 2 ounces. I'm going to call it the Quick Drop. That's the name. Because I'm already using those jigs. Yeah, find me your order number and I'll pack it. I don't know what your name is. So more freaking tubes. I don't know if I have enough of this though. That's that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. You're talking for him or no? Thanks for teaching me a lot about Lakers. You're very welcome. I like doing it. Even though the teaching videos are kind of they're not as much fun as me just going out and hammering Lakers and doing that side of things, but like makes me feel good to get comments like that, and I get them all, not to like toot my own horn, but I got 20,000 people that watch my videos. There's some 20,000 subscribers. My last video got like 5,000 views, so all of those people are now hopefully catching Lakers, which is pretty sweet. And I've gotten so many messages where like, thank you so much. I caught my first Laker after struggling for years, which is what happened to me. No, my order. 1949. Oh, I should have shipped that a while ago. Because I'm on 1989 right now. Yeah, I thought about adding the black dot. The thing is for lake trout, and I think char species, lake trout species in general, even though they're not trout technically, they respond more to profile than anything else. So this fish sees something that, one, he can jam into his mouth, right? And two, it's the similar size to what they've been eating, because I've been on Sebago where we catch the first fish and they're throwing up little tiny alewife like this big. You put something big down there, they won't touch it. I know they'll eat it. On a good day, if they're around a bunch of big bait, they'll eat it. 1994. It's my order, second order is 2015. Yeah, I definitely won't get it for 2015 tonight. We that's way ahead. Hold on. I'm on 1989 right now. I'll probably get too tired to get to your order tonight, but I probably will go live tomorrow. It's probably going to be in the middle of the day though. But yeah, your order should be quick to pack. Thank you for ordering. Help me pick up my Laker game. Awesome. 1994. Yeah, your order will be packed in a little while. Fishing in 100 foot of water, I still use live scope. I use live scope all the time. The only time I use 2D is when I'm on plane or I'm just randomly scanning for fish, or I'm trying to teach you guys how to use 2D. Yep, I see both orders. And if you want, I don't know if it affects me or not. I can cancel those orders and then you can reorder and it'll save you shipping, because my system doesn't allow me to combine those orders. It only allows me to do 2 separate shipments. So you basically overpay for shipping. So I use LiveScope. I use LiveScope Plus down to about 120. And then I use LiveScope XR from anywhere between 40 and like 180, 100 or 200. So I have the very expensive LiveScope XR too. Yep, so I use both. I haven't used the XR yet this year, but yeah, I thought about adding the black dot. I don't think it matters. I think if a lake trout is being that picky, you're like, oh, does it have a black dot or does it not have a black dot? We got other things to worry about if fish are being that picky. Like I listened to the Orvis Fly Fishing podcast. It's like, oh, does it matter if my stonefly has 6 legs instead of 2? And his response was like, a trout has a fraction of a second to make up his mind if he's gonna eat that or not, or if he's gonna put the energy into eating that before it swims away or floats away. I don't think a dot matters. I know, Frostbite, who's making all those other tubes that they're selling, they went into crazy detail about head colors and stuff like that. I don't think most of that stuff matters. That's more to catch fishermen than anything. And the only reason I invented these tubes is because you're so limited to what you can do vertical jigging when you're ice fishing. Like, you can only cover a small part of the water column and only make that jig go up, straight back down again. When you're open water, you can cast, you can hop it back, you can move the boat forward and drift a little bit. So just got a live. Awesome. True plus a fresh piece of fresh bait. You guys would be surprised. I almost never, ever use bait on my jigs. Almost never. One, I don't like bringing chum around with me all the time. So I just finally put it in like a plastic container, and that seems to help because I used to put it in a Ziploc and it freaking leak everywhere and just be a damn nightmare. No, it's all right. Yeah, if you don't mind about the cost, then I don't mind. I made an extra $1 off of you. That's all that means. I gotta ship out 2 packages basically. A lot of people do that. They order and then they go back and order more. Hopefully that wasn't a website issue. Because some people are like, oh, I couldn't get back to the other thing, so I just ordered it and went into the next thing. And talking about that dot thing, that's why my website is broken into small, medium, and large baits. Is because I think they see a fish sees something that's like the size of a smelt. We're just asking the question. They see something this big that's in the same profile, they're going to hit it no matter what. More likely they're going to hit it unless they're in the picky mood, right? If they see something gigantic, they're like, that's not normal. That's not what I've been eating, right? It's like trying to give a toddler who's been eating chicken nuggets all his life, a giant whole roasted chicken. Same meat, but it's just like, oh, I'm not gonna eat that. Like, same concept. They focus on profile. They're only seeing that bait from a distance, and they're seeing kind of like a silhouette. So the profile size matters. Do you ever use live smelt? I have never caught a lake trout on a live smelt before. You know why? Because freaking smelt die too fast. It's the story. I'm sticking to it. So I used to buy smelts, and they're like $1 a freaking piece or whatever plus. And then I stopped buying them. I don't think they really matter. They really don't. They're expensive. Can't bring them everywhere. They die quick. I've caught Lakers on shiners more than I have smell. I rarely fish deeper than 100 of water. If you're fishing a small 2-ounce jig or a quarter-ounce jig like this, live scope is good down to like 120. Now, the only time I fish that deep is Lake Champlain, but I'm usually fishing a way bigger jig, and then Winnipesaukee in the fall. So I would just stick with a 34. The LVS 62 is way too expensive for people that aren't doing crap full time like I am. It's just way too much, in my opinion. It's $2,500 just for the transducer. Yeah, I've seen big schools of smelt on Sebago too, and I've actually run into them during the summertime up shallow. Their biggest forage in there is obviously the alewife, which I'm really hoping to get out there and catch some Lakers and get a video out of there this year. But right now, I'm ahead on videos and behind on making orders. So trying to release at least 2 videos a week, but it's like haven't been. Our season was off to a sketchy start there for a little bit. No, it was me. I had smelt and they started laying eggs in my bucket. Curious silver settings. So 34 settings to see 120 is my gain is probably 70 to 72. It's going to be noisy. TVG is off. Noise rejection is off. Ghost tree is off. Color gain is 80-90%. And then I have it on the blue color palette. And then I have the sonar faced in down mode. Down mode will give you a clearer return than forward mode because it's just bouncing back on itself. That's how I do it. And if you want to search Bendit Fishing's live scope settings, they have a whole video on it because I get asked that question a lot. And lots of Lakers on live smells, not jigging, but on traps. How'd you do last Saturday? Alton was very slow last. I don't fish on the weekend, but I probably went out that Friday before that and caught 3 or 4. It was slow. But when I go, I usually know it's going to be slow or I know it's going to be good. And that's just because of historical data. I don't know, like a better term. Yeah, lake trout eat cuss for sure. When we were on Superior, we were catching 40-inch Lakers on tubes, on 6-inch white tubes with like little blades on the back of them, feathers on the inside. They had 20-inch burbot, like the ones we catch regularly on Winnipesaukee, stuck in their mouth. So they were still hungry, eating 20-inch burbot. How do you get clear footage on your AquaView? I can't see well over 40 feet. So past 40 feet, it's tough. I was just fishing in 43 with a non-AquaView brand, and it was pushing the limit. You got to go on a bright, sunny day. That's really all I can tell you. So they're just like a normal camera. They're actually worse than a normal camera, like a cell phone camera. You need a lot of light, and you need it to be basically like noontime, directly shining right through the ice is the best you can do. There's no settings on the AquaViews that can really help you. And the AquaViews are way overpriced these days anyways. Pearl Glow, pack of those. Well, if anybody orders any more freaking glide tubes, I got like 1 pack left before I gotta make more. These are going to Kevin in Minnesota. A lot of Minnesotans. Great channel, man. Been watching with. Thank you, Riley. I appreciate it. shipping label. Someone asked that same question earlier, Drew, and I think it's because the overstocking of salmon. I think it's the smelt population is declining in Winnipesaukee, but Fish and Game has not announced that yet. They survey it every year to put in the amount of salmon, and they're overstocking the piss out of the salmon and rainbows. So you put two high-speed species in there that outcompete the lake trout, and you don't have any food, lake trout are going to get skinnier. And what's funny is I've actually been blamed for the skinny lake trout. Like, oh, it's those jigging guys with electronics. Really? Really? Man, you know, like 1% of the complete fishing knowledge. Is that? I don't know if that's a compliment. I'm guessing that's not a compliment. Yeah, I don't think Lakers necessarily like yellow perch. So if I was going to eat, something, and I was a small Laker, I'd rather eat a smelt because it doesn't have spines on its back. See that guy Wings of whatever? I just banned him. He's blocked from the channel. Like, you gotta come into a live chat and say something stupid, get out. Like, there's no reason to interrupt anybody else. Like, and I'm 100% not for like cancel culture. Get out. Just don't bother me. When it's this kind of stuff, if people are mean in comments on like Facebook on a video I made, go for it, because that just makes the video go more viral. So 5, 10, 15, 20. Sea run smelts are bigger and work better dead. Yeah, I want to go up to one of those smelt camps and try that. I've gone smelting before, like intentionally. It was pretty, not that I want to be up at 3 a.m. going smelting, but that's what I was doing. Going to the last Fish and Game meeting, the executive directors having a powwow with all the chiefs, so hopefully a plan instead of no plan. Oh, that's good. Are you talking about like why the Lakers are small? I might go to sleep soon. I should probably go to sleep soon too. I didn't sleep well last night. And I still have a relatively newborn in my bed pretty much every night. She's in the room, obviously. She's only 2 months old. I woke up last night. I'm like, what is that noise? And it was her breathing right beside me. Yeah, there's no plan in general. And unfortunately, our state does not have a lot of money. We're a tax-free state. Like, Maine gets a ton of money from taxes. Only thing we have money, we have state grants. Did you guys know? So listen to this number. New Hampton Fish Hatchery. So New Hampton, New Hampshire is getting a new fish hatchery. right? Can you guess how much this new fish hatchery is going to cost? How much we're not paying for it. Luckily, there's a grant that's paying for it. Take a guess. Just take a guess, please. It's in millions of dollars. Just take a guess. I almost fell out of my I actually fell out of my chair when I saw it first. Well, you cheated, but that is the number. $47.3 million for our stocked trout here in New Hampshire. 47.3. Okay. We can't even get docks in the boat launch the day before opening day. $47.3 million. So they can stock fish over the top of non-native fish over the top of wild fish, which they do on a regular basis. So they can stock rivers in southern New Hampshire that within a week of opening season are too hot, so the fish die, or they're caught by everybody in Massachusetts. We might get some money from license plates, but most of it comes from all that money's coming from some grant. It's some revitalization act. Better have some trouts to trouts. Don't we get money on license? If not, how deep you fish poses? How you wiggly worm? Yeah, the fingerlings they stock. They even say those are catchable fish. Like, I'm not gonna bring home the brookie this big to fillet it. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? I'll be right back, guys. I'm over here making a Winnie kit. I'm going to tell you right now, guys, it is flipping cold in here unless I'm sitting in front of the heater. Oh. Someplace I kind of... Yeah, it's really sad. And I know I'm the younger generation of fishermen who actually care and actually target wild trout. Like, I was targeting wild brookies and I was getting flack for that. And be like, oh, you're hurting that fish, and you know we've had warmer summers, and I'm taking pride in myself and not doing that. I'm like, good for you, man. I am using barbless hooks. I'm practicing catch and release, and I'm actively. The thing is, there is nobody speaking for the gigantic wild brook trout population here in New Hampshire. Our population of wild brook trout is not like Maine, but you can go blue lining in a lot of places and catch a lot of wild brookies. They're not huge, but it's a great fishery, and I would love to exploit it to the point where, okay, imagine, and this is the way I understand it, and there's a group, Menominee River. There's a river that's in danger out in the Midwest, has great smallmouth fisheries, and nobody talks about it. But they're about to build like some sort of mine out there, something like that, and maybe pollute the river. So nobody knows about it. So nobody cares about it. Nobody's going to protect this wild strain of smallmouth. That's the story. If nobody's out there promoting wild brook trout, if there's no fishery for it, like the stupid salmon fishery here in New Hampshire, stupid's a bad word. If there's nobody promoting it, nobody talking about it, they're going to overrun it with stocked fish. And it obviously you guys can see me, it gets me riled up, right? Like I took my son there, and he can throw a dry fly with he was 4 into a random river in the White Mountains and catch a wild brookie within 3 seconds. Like that's in danger, but nobody's talking about it. Nobody does anything about it. I gave up on an spring trout fishing. You know what? It's funny. Not funny. It's sad. I gave up on it too. Like I all my spots that I would hit when I was younger, and even like the last couple of years for stock trout, just to get content out there in the spring, I ended up going to Mass. I have a couple of videos. I'm like, hey, I got a couple of buddies that live in Mass. I'm like, how's the bite been? It's like, oh, it's been great. Just come down here and just hammer them with us. Net much higher success rate survival. Mean Wobblers is pretty much the best. Yeah, bass are taking over Moosehead. Those are a stock fish too. I mean, it's in dire need. I mean, I'd love to be a politician and stand on my salt box and keep preaching and all, like, you know, I can only do so much. I can only do so much, guys. I mean, I'd love to just be a wild brook trout guide. I gotta get a permit in White Mountains to do it, but it's not a big deal. But people want to catch like 19-inch freaking stock gross brook trout. I filmed a video. I caught a bunch of big brookies, stock brookies this year, and I didn't want to release it. I was just like, these are not worth it in my mind. But don't worry, we're gonna spend $47 million on a hatchery, and we're gonna have a lot more stock brook trout. And Moose said, give me spots. Only fish game is invasive a species a good idea. Yeah, I mean, I probably could. You know, I'm one of those guys that's a doer, not a talker. Obviously, I'm talking now, but you know, if something was to come up about lake trout, I'd be the first one to talk about it. They actually just lowered. They know the lake trout are getting smaller. They just lowered the inches on some of the lakes, on the general regs lakes. Well, I can't do that order because I don't have enough stuff in stock. Can't do that order. Could do that order. Baxter State Park. I've been to Baxter, but I didn't fish it. Gulpin brookie there too. Is it stock trout or wild trout? Yeah, I don't know if I've talked to the North Country Angler guy, but I've seen him post quite a bit. I think I'm gonna go to bed, guys. I'm absolutely freezing in here, even with the heater on. It's got to be like freaking 10 degrees out. I would say I made headway, but there's been like 5 orders that have come in since I've been on the call with you guys. But I got a bunch of orders packed. I'll pack a bunch more tomorrow, and I might go live again tomorrow. What time should I go up to Sebago this spring? Gotta go catch some Lakers. I would say as soon as you can access a boat launch. So one year, Ryan and I went last year, February 10th, we went out. So it's open all year. But the salmon run area doesn't open until April 1st, I think. So just wait till then. All right, good night, guys. I'm going to go shower and probably go to bed. And I'll be back out here in the morning cranking the heat and getting her going again. Thank you guys so much for ordering and tuning in and all the comments. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching the live stream. Deadlines, guys. Have fun fishing this weekend if I don't talk to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.